here.
Yes.
Yeah. Great.
How do we do that? How do we do it? You do
just
it?
did it. I just did it.
Oh, thank you. So we're on the recorder.
Don't tell any secrets.
And
now.
that can, yeah. I like your new office. That you need a curtain or a couple of frames on the wall. I can bring you some of my family. You deserve a squeaky clean room.
Yes.
And office, all of y'all. Is it going to get the snow plows out in the next day or two, you think?
We're ready for it. The plows are up and running.
Good. So what's going on in the world of Angie's? I'm sorry, she's been so helpful. She is so quick with getting things to us. 2 of the bylaws, and we're going to be talking probably in February about them. But as I've read them, and maybe you know that the council adapts and approves those because we're advising the committee. Our committee is advising anything related to Landcare to the council. So we're going to be addressing that today. But it looks like the bylaws. Oh, is Maggie there?
Yeah, she just came.
Hello, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Maggie.
Morning, Maggie.
Hey.
Now, I am not able to see who's coming on, but Martha, you help me out when you see people. That's great.
What do you see?
We were just talking. Well, I guess I need to push participants on there. I'm sharing a screen.
If you share a screen, you'll see people.
Yeah.
Morning.
Okay. So I have my jewelry on and a sweater, and I have pajamas at the bottom. So we're waiting, and let's see. We still have 5 more minutes. Maggie?
Yeah.
I have your minutes sent last night to everyone, and then thanking also again for Alex getting the Zoom meeting. And we do have Katie today taking minutes, and it's going to be recorded so that will be helpful for future secretaries if we do keep doing our Zoom meetings. So is there anything you want us to update before we get other people on about anything related to Alice and the bylaws? Or are you gonna, we're not going to spend time today on it. We're just going to acknowledge that everyone.
I can give you an update of where we are. I've talked with Alice, and we've got a plan. So
Okay.
I thought I would share that.
Yeah, and we know that document that Brad graciously helped me get on after I did my technological boo-boos. Is Brad there?
Yes, we can. Brad.
Yeah, Brad. Hi.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Gene will be with us.
We're getting people on. Yes, I said to Brad, and I won't repeat it to the big group. The other day or yesterday, it was when I was having my frantic attack with my email, trying to get to everyone with the documents, and he figured it all out and sent it out with a reply by all. And when I called him on the phone, I said, "Brad, you're my lifesaver." He said, "No one's ever told me that." We appreciate your new computer helping me.
For the most part, it's working pretty well.
Good.
There's things I still need to learn, and strange things happen, but that's computers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is it human or is it iCloud people? The iCloud or the mountain or the snow? Human beings can't do without us.
Yeah, it's the youngsters that make all the problems. Never said that before, but one of my theories is that every new person has to make their mark, and so they want to change things, even if it's already working well. And they don't really necessarily know why things are done that way before, so they want to do it different their way, and that just leaves everybody else in constant confusion,
Mhm.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Excellent point. You think deep there. Alex, there's one thing I don't know if you're prepared, but it's okay for just an update of the budget report. And Martha is probably going to speak to that because she still has something to turn in or do. But that's the number 4 on the agenda.
I
And
don't
I
have a budget
did not
report.
meet.
Our finance officer actually had a car accident, and so she's been.
Ooh.
So I don't have that report.
That's
Is she
fine. That's
okay?
fine. I just. Where is she? At this morning she
You
had it?
okay?
She's home, but she's in a lot of pain, and she's going to physical therapy.
Ooh.
Oh, well, I'm so sorry.
When did this happen?
Last week.
Oh. If we send her a card, can you forward it to her? I know you may not give out people's personal addresses.
Sure, we could do that.
Okay. Okay. I'd be glad to do that because that's a terrible thing to have happen and to get over.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it happen near her home or hope not in Montreat, but not anywhere would be a problem, but
No, it wasn't.
ooh, that's too bad. Now,
So you can
go ahead.
Dottie's on listening, but not seeing or speaking, and Katie's getting on. There's Dottie,
Cool. Hi, Dottie.
dressed warmly for the winter.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yay.
Yes, hey,
Mhm.
Maggie, did you get my email?
I did. I'm sorry we left you out.
That's
We'll
okay.
we'll make a note on that.
All right.
She said
it's-
she was at the meeting, but nobody could hear her. So I thought she was not duly acknowledged. Anyway.
Hello, Katie.
Hello.
Yay.
Hey, Katie.
Katie.
Yay.
I almost
Hey.
thought I wasn't going to make it because we have a new little puppy and she chewed our cord that disconnected. We don't have phone, we don't have internet, we don't have TV, and
Oh,
it's going to
no.
cost us over $100 to replace it.
Rosie is in the doghouse.
She is definitely in the doghouse. She's not popular today.
Or
And
you
listen,
on your phone?
there's
you on
good
your
news, Katie. Alex is recording this meeting, so
Great.
that'll help you out with these minutes. And I thank you for this last month of your membership on this wonderful Landcare committee.
You are most
And-
welcome. And it is a wonderful committee. I loved it.
It truly is. Look at all the caring people that through the years as Martha says, as a chair, you're a cheerleader, but I'm hoping we'll get more on. I can wait a few more minutes. Let's see how that goes. But I do have something that I didn't mean to leave out, and that was on the agenda with a reflection. And I'm going to start with that before I do the welcoming and setting up meeting goals, because Brad, you may recognize this beautiful book that your father, of course, edited and authored with Henrietta Wilkinson. And Martha has expressed her thanks to our directory group of a theme of the rivers and the streams and the Flat Creek in particular. But Randy Taylor, back when the centennial was celebrated, has a wonderful poem about Montreat, and it is featured in our directory. Montreat is not just a place, it is a state of mind and a state of grace. A high valley surrounded by tall, graceful old mountains. Its life is nurtured along streams which flow through a sparkling lake and out into the rivers and the oceans. For a century now, and now over a century, it has overflowed its mystical force into homes and churches, schools and hospitals, places of need and of care. Like a mountain stream, it moves on, always changing, but somehow always the same.
and get to a place where this may be projectable. We have not projected that raise yet.
Oh, oops. Ooh, somebody's there. For those who have loved it for a lifetime and for those for whom it is a fresh discovery, its elemental effect has been to guide in courses sometimes quiet and sometimes turbulent toward him who is the water of life. And welcome all. Who else have we greeted on? I see Hal came on. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
Patty's here. I
okay.
can hear you.
Good.
You're-
As a welcome, I'd
And it-
like to say that it is a privilege to serve with people who are so dedicated in helping manage the environmental issues in Montreat. And Martha is in transition with me and has been a cheerleader for many of us. And she is remaining a real leader and actually, I've been in touch with her for the last week, and I have a big box of things. And I'm hoping today with our goals at the top of our agenda that we're reviewing some of the status of the projects of 2020. And one of the 5 documents that you received, thank you, Brad, again, is the annual report. And it is a beautiful volume of all the accomplishments that we have had. We are also going to be today reviewing just briefly some of the land care bylaws. That too was attached by to your email sent by Brad. And then a lot of maybe discussion really for today, looking like 2 environmental concerns, which we will look at in item 6. With that, is there any other agenda items that we will be happy to insert if you want to review that we are doing the usual activities and projects reports? And I have a couple of those I'm going to read because Bill Seaman's not able to be here. And I'm not sure if we have Nancy Midget, who flew down to Florida. She didn't fly, she drove. But she has a report that will be read and looked at under the environmental concerns. So Maggie, thank you for your minutes. Many of you maybe didn't get to read all of them, but let's take a look at that right now. The review of our previous meeting, December 2nd. Anyone wishing to speak to it for any corrections or thoughts?
We do need to add Dottie.
Martha?
Add Dottie.
Yes, and I attended too, and I was elected. My name should be at the top of attending the Zoom. So we'll put Dottie and myself in. Good, thank you.
Good.
Martha?
I have a couple of things under, we read Katie's report under National Wildlife Federation Habitat Conference Call. And one of the things that was discussed as a part of that was that she noted a Mayor's Monarch Pledge that is a program of the National Wildlife Federation. And we referred that to Commissioner Lentz, asking her to work on this with Mayor Helms as in our support of monarchs. We talked a little bit about some of the things that have happened related to monarchs in years past. So that was one thing to add. Another was under Hal's report, Earth Ministry Team, the program he reminded us of was about Christmas trees, not just trees in general, but particularly about Christmas trees and growing Christmas trees in this area and artificial versus live trees and so forth. So I would just add the word Christmas before discussing trees,
Okay.
before the word trees.
Excellent. Anything else? If not, I would like to ask if you would make some, I'm not sure how many now are on, but we can approve our minutes by so moving. If someone would from the screen would please do so.
I move to accept the minutes.
Thank you, Dottie. Is there a need for a second? I'm not up. Okay, I'm not up on my Robert's rules, but thank you. Thank you so much, Maggie, for getting that done. And Katie, we did miss you last December meeting, and we really appreciate all those updates you had for the the wildlife habitat webinar that I still want to chat with you about, and you've been a real worker bee on that one. Now, moving
May I
to the
ask-
budget.
May I ask,
Go ahead, Kate.
who is Ed? I have an ED in one of the
Ed,
boxes.
it may be a visitor. Maybe
It's
we have
Ed
a
Cra-
public.
Ed Kramer.
Yeah,
Oh.
Ed Kramer.
So that's okay.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, sure. Nice to be here.
Thank you, Ed.
Ed's a
welcome.
great part of the stream team, among other things.
Yes. Ed, would you like to speak at any time on our agenda? Feel free, or if you might wish to have any questions or add something. I
Sure.
don't know if you have a copy,
No.
but we welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. All righty. We're not going to be having a budget report today, but we will also move on to the Montreat Landcare bylaws. It is an interesting study. I have been in many organizations when in looking at bylaws, and it does give us a window to who we are. And I did attach that. It is not required that you have had to have read all of it, but Maggie Ray would like to speak to that, and then I would like to add some highlights that I have found from it. Maggie?
Thank you. Thank you, Grace. Alice Lentz and I are ready to look at these bylaws. It's now a minute too soon. The last time they were reviewed was in 2012. So we're going to take a quick look and see if there need to be some changes. There is a list of the entities, and we are not clear which of our members are nominated by which entity. So we're going to straighten that out before we can elect a secretary. So that is underway. I don't think there's much else I need to say about that. If you've read them and have ideas about, there's some language in there that seems to me a bit superfluous. We're going to see if we can tighten that up a bit and get the entities on board with nominating who they're supposed to nominate officially. So we'll
Okay.
be doing that in the next month, and Alice and I should get back to you next meeting.
Okay, thank you. As I looked over it, I wanted to highlight who we are and what we're doing, and it may be a good way to start off our new year. The Montreat Landcare, MLC, is described as a vehicle for volunteer groups, for communities, nonprofits, government agencies, corporations to work together on land and water management. And I'm thinking back in 2012, was the vehicle a mountain bike? And then did we get into a Jeep? And did we now have a Land Rover? Because we are covering the valley. And hopefully this other description of us is the umbrella group for Landcare. And that is the real root of our committee here. It's the entity-based teams. And I have to say that the college, the town, MRA, cottagers and wilderness communities, even our Earth Care from the Presbyterian Church USA, other affiliated teams, all of these have had this nice umbrella, and we can call it our Landcare umbrella. And I would like to say, as an educator, it is exciting to hear what the college does, and Dottie and your team and all the rest of you all. The other thing that I wanted to highlight, and this is something that I was speaking to with Alex before the meeting started, and I don't know if Alice is on yet, but our group, our committee, the MLC, is an advisory to the Montreat Board of Commissioners, and that is quoted in our description under 3.4 if you go back and read those bylaws. So as an advisory, we can interpret that as bringing up concerns, actually it would be the environmental concerns that we will be reaching and looking at next on our agenda. And that is what we are. We're not telling the town what to do, but we're advising them. And I don't know if you call it, we would not refer to it as bringing up a motion for them to discuss. It is just something I would like for them to take action on, or to discuss among themselves or individually. So at the end of this meeting, I will check with any of you all as to how we can communicate and advise about these two important environmental concerns. And so I'd like to bring up now the two that are item 6. We discussed the pet waste disposal quite a bit last week. I know that John Hinkle has been in touch with me. I've had other Montreat people who have communicated pictures and concerns. And we do know from our minutes that Maggie wrote that when we're so popular during the COVID time, that we do have outside visitors that perhaps are not taking care of our land and our trails. I had a fun chat with, and just to bring this up before we talk, I had an interesting chat with a lot of people concerning what they do, and the responsible pet owners do have their baggies, their little disposable baggies. John Hinkle takes care of he's caring for yes, and he has found those bags there. They are sometimes, and I know I've talked with Mike when he's been up on Graybeard, people are disposing things behind places. I brought up the fact that I understand the public town or the town not having, their, as you do in other, like in Black Mountain, you have places to dispose of trash, even if it's a coffee cup or whatever. But I did research and saw that there you can have little disposable cylinder things for baggies for the poop from animals, from your dogs. And it may be that after another discussion, and just with maybe you, Alice, we can again talk. And welcome, Alice. I'm glad to see your face. Thank you.
Grace, I'd love to say something. Thank you for your welcome. And may I speak to a couple of things that have already been addressed?
Yes. Please
okay.
do.
First of all, I'm delighted to hear your bringing up with the group how this MLC advises the Board of Commissioners. And I will say that the way it's worked in the last couple of years is that Martha and I were in communication after meetings. Martha had suggested points that I might want to raise in our Board of Commissioners meetings. And so that's how it worked very well. We can continue that if you like, or there may be other channels you would like to pursue. But Martha, thanks for those communications that you reached out to me with regularly. And related to that, bringing up the Mayor's Monarch Pledge that came up last month, the day before, or maybe the week before Town Council met. And so I raised it in that meeting and mentioned that I would talk with the mayor, as Katie had suggested that we do, but I didn't want to do it till my commissioner colleagues had known about this. It was the first any had heard about it, and so we were not going to address it right then. But the word's been put out, and so that's
good.
And so that's exactly how this communication works.
Excellent.
In fact, Katie's written report was reviewed and was certainly there and handed out to my commissioner colleagues because she could not be with us in the Landcare meeting. So their systems already in place that seem to be working. They may need to be refined or more vibrant, whatever. And then the other thing is, of course, another issue here is on the pet waste that you've seen since that last meeting. That the town has had communications and photos, as has MRA, because we did reach out to MRA and ask them to print these photos and to include, I don't know if you've seen those, but of course they've been there since December, and to include the announcements weekly as they ask people to take their trash with them. So that's already out there for anybody who's seeing any of that. And the last thing I'll say there is that there was a request, and this is all just so we're not all reinventing the wheel. There was a request of our town administrator to look into costs of cans and bags and what options there would be for installing some of these pet waste receptacles around town. And so those conversations are underway. Of course, an early step would be to reach out again to MRA here, because there's no sense in one big entity in town taking this on without another huge entity that has the trails. So those Discussions are underway, and Alex may well have more information. We've not addressed it as a commission, but there's some information floating around. So just be aware. I think that the communication's working pretty well back and forth. But again,
Excellent.
always open for to other suggestions. And again, acknowledging Martha's communications with me after each meeting last time. And last thing I'll say on the bylaws is that it's been fun working with Maggie over Zoom when we had a conversation back in December. And Maggie, whenever in the next few days, I can set up another Zoom meeting for us if you're ready to take that on.
Sounds good.
Grace, thank you for letting
Excellent.
me welcome you.
Oh, we're so,
And
thank you also,
for your welcome to me.
and thank you
This
for
is-
that follow-up in December of your email with the leadership. And know that I am a team member person. I can be corrected. I can be told this is not what you're to be doing. And my relationship with the town, and particularly with you, Alex, and more, I look forward to talking to you, Alice, after our monthly meetings. Anyone else would like to speak to the past waste disposal?
Yes, this is Ed Kramer. Is it too extreme to just prohibit dog walking on the trails as an ordinance of the town?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, that's too
Okay.
extreme. I mean, that's why people have dogs. It's one of the main reasons, because the dog
Well-
allows them to get out and walk.
Well, what about residents only? You have to be a resident. If you're not a resident, why should you be allowed to come in here and dirty our trails?
Who would like to attack that one?
Well, I
Alice, or-
remember when I had a dog whom I adored, had him for his entire life. I remember every time I would put on a hat or a coat to go out the door, the dog would begin leaping into the air and shrieking with
Yes.
delight. And I wouldn't
Exactly.
have gone on a trail without my dog.
Well, I'm
Right.
speaking about non-residents.
Grace,
Jason may
Yeah.
have something to say about that.
What was
So,
that?
sorry for getting in late. I had some technical difficulties with the
Oh,
computer.
when you look wonderful, Santa Claus.
Thanks. I don't think the will is there right now to say residents only on the trails, or it wouldn't be residents only. What it would probably be is some variation of conferees only, or conferees and residents and college students only. And so you start getting into one of the things. Yeah, I agree. There's too many people on the trails, whether they have dogs or not right now, is one of the truths of COVID.
Yes.
Trying to limit it is difficult. And so, we can try to put up stronger language. What probably needs to happen, which I don't know that there's will for, is kicking people off when they do it. And that's going to cause fights. And I don't know that people are willing to take those fights right now. But, in my opinion, that's kind of the only way to do that. Is you pull someone up in front of everyone else, you fine them, you send them home, you give them a letter of trespass, whatever it is that you do, when you have problems with somebody, and then, so while that has happened in the past, never for something as trivial as, dog defecation, essentially,
Yeah.
The people we've taken that kind of action on have done, essentially broken the law in some way. Vandalism, theft, assault, that kind of stuff. And that's not common. And I can only think of a couple of cases in years of being here. So I do think we are having conversations about how to discourage people from using the trails. And I'm sure that, we've talked about this 100 times and even more in a wilderness committee, is the internet has really put us, has knocked us down.
We're so
not prepared for
desirable.
that, and we got sucker punched by the internet, and now everyone can find our trails. And so that is I'm happy to bring that up. I missed the beginning of the dog waste ordinance. dog waste discussion. And of course, there's also the issue of people down here
Yeah, that's
um,
true.
on sidewalks and things. So, yeah, I don't know what the right answer is. I agree it's an issue.
Yeah.
But I think
Well, I
it's
think,
part of the larger issue of right now we have, on the trails at least, right now we just have too many people hiking daily. So,
mhm,
Yes.
mhm. Yes. Well, I appreciate, as our MLC, that we are bringing that up as an alert to advise those who can work on it, and to also look at the town's response, which Alice, I think, is doing very well. And that would be a discussion with MRA. And I don't know if we have an MRA reps on here yet. Do we have?
Yeah, yeah, 2.
Good. Yeah. No, I meant on the meeting screen.
Yes.
My participants aren't showing.
Jason,
Okay.
Jason and Tracy both on.
Excellent. Good morning, everyone there.
That was
Again,
yeah.
if there's something else to add to this pet waste, there's not a motion, but that this is something that is ongoing and is being recognized by these entities.
yeah. Well, and I
Thank
missed some of it. Well, you're talking about putting up town service trash cans, essentially.
Yeah, we're talking about finding sites where makes most sense to have them.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing how many there would be. All these are very preliminary discussions, and how much it will cost. And Alex has gathered some figures for us on that we're beginning to look at. But also, it would be much more effective, probably, to engage MRA early in these discussions.
Yes.
I think,
And we're talking about cylinder type, not something that can be, it's obvious it's not for someone's trash from their home that they can, have taken advantage of in the past when they dump it on top of these bear-proof locked,
yeah, I think a larger discussion
disposal.
of trash probably ought to happen. I don't know who that needs to happen between, but the town and MRA used to have a different agreement on trash 10 years ago.
Right.
And now, we're the only ones who empty those green cans. So the kind of solution has been to lock them, which I think is insufficient. I think we need to remove them if we're not going to service them, which I don't think we can.
Yeah.
Our housekeeping staff has been decimated, well, more than that, by COVID.
Sure.
Because we have two housekeepers to basically do the whole valley, and they're furloughed a week. So the trash cans aren't getting emptied the way they perhaps should be.
Well, responsible citizens should be taking their trash and even their dog disposable bags back with them in their cars. But I do think that if someone said, "How did your meeting go today?" I said, "Well, we talked about trash, a lot of trash." But I do appreciate, and we can move on unless someone else, and we can get this going with the town and MRA. And Alice, that's wonderful that you've had some preliminary discussions. Anyone else on the pet waste disposal? Let's move to, and I'd like for you to know. Go ahead. Someone.
Just to correct the record, I don't know that those conversations have taken place yet with MRA.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're just conversations among that. Yes, these need to take place. And this will be a
Excellent.
lot.
Thank you, Alice.
Yeah.
And just a question about formality. Do we need to have some type of a motion that comes from this committee to go to the town that you can take to the town council, Ann, or is it just discussion? Or do
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question. As a committee, we are an advisory group to the town, and that is in the bylaws. I think a statement that could be from this committee could be formally written up. I don't know how motions, and we have to vote on it. It appears, I'm assuming that our group is feeling that this is something that needs to be brought up and tended to, and we're advising strongly to the town to help us with this task. Dottie, if you would want to think about a motion or a statement, perhaps as we move along, it could be a very simple thing that we are advising, please, through the vehicle that we have with Alice to bring and take action on this matter with the town. Now, that could be how we can clearly communicate that. And Alice, after our meeting today, we can set up a time to talk about that and how you would like to have us be advising you to go forward. Is that
I'd
a
like
good?
to suggest that we do this in a positive way.
Excellent.
That we're so happy that they're beginning to think about this. Also, I've seen some nice little pet waste collection things down in Black Mountain on their greenways, and we might want to look at that too. Just, I'm inserting that now without.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, and we are very positive about keeping our environment. And I know that Bill spoke to the fact that sometimes the waste might be affecting our streams and creeks. So that's something important. So Alice, I'll be back in touch with you. Any other comments before we?
Sounds great.
Okay.
One thing I'm thinking, with all the entities that constitute Montreat Landcare, I think that it could be of interest to touch base. Not even think, as you think about whatever kind of statement might be developed, just touch base very quickly with all of those entities to say, what do you think about this? Is this an issue you've dealt with the areas that you are that you're involved in? Just so that it has even greater force and greater.
Good point.
Spread.
Good point.
That's all.
Yes. Excellent. If you have a printout, or if you have read the Firewise Committee report for this that was written by Nancy Midget, she submitted that, and she wished for me to report it to you all. I know that we'll get down to the Firewise report, but that I would like to bring 7B up to 6B right now about the bag leaves collection. I would like to read what the committee has done. Of course, at the beginning, if you read that, you'll see her report as being the certified and recognizing our Firewise community this past summer. In point 6, she said the committee has received some communication from residents about bagged leaves that have been sitting on the roadside for a considerable amount of time. Nancy spoke with Alex to make sure that we understood the town's collection policy clearly. The part that is most unclear is the definition of private contractors, and she puts that in quotes. Most people assume that this term refers to businesses such as arborists, et cetera, landscape people, or even those who are in the construction of homes. However, Alex informed Nancy that the town includes college students and handymen as private contractors, which suggests that even properly bagged leaves, when done by these groups, are not eligible for town pickup. This definition seems a bit problematic, since many people in Montreat are not physically able to rake and bag leaves, and so they are willingly hiring college students or local handymen to do so. The Firewise Committee believes that we need clarification of the definition of private contractor, and would certainly encourage the town to exclude college students and handymen from this category. And as you know, now that we are in our new phase with the beautiful calendar that I always love getting, we are getting those bagged leaves and other things picked up every other Wednesdays. So those are on our new calendar. So who would like to speak to, I'm the messenger from the Firewise Committee on this particular topic of the bag leaf collection. Hello.
I'll say that I know the town staff works, the public works people work really hard to do all the jobs they have to do. And we've had windstorms and trees down and so forth. I think one of the issues with this is that if you, and it was my experience, if you leave a bag out and it's not picked up, then the bag begins to deteriorate. And I've had to rebag leaves up to 3 times, because if you picked up the bag, the leaves were still there in a pile on the side of the road. So I think if we know, and I see Hal shaking his head, if we know that we're going to have a collection, then I'm just wondering if it's possible for the town to hire some, hourly people or something to help. I know they're doing all they can because of the change in the garbage collection and not being able to hire the group who used to be able to help with that. So I'm wondering what solutions, Alice, what have you seen, or or maybe Alex, because there are bags that are sitting out there for weeks at a time. And that's where I think some of the people who've been calling her have been concerned about how long they're out, as well as if the town's feeling like those people's bags don't qualify for pickup. I personally have students who work with us on leaves, and they have no way, and we have no way to dispose of those bags out. We consider that part of our tax money.
An issue we're aware of.
It is an issue we're aware of, and if I could, I would like to say that the majority of the leaves that are out are it's just the town's been inundated with bag leaves, and so the majority of what's not been picked up is just because we haven't had time to pick them up, and the crew's been running behind. We have diverted our other public works staff to working with sanitation to do this. I've been working pretty hard to try to catch up on bag leaves and brush and trash. All of the above. Trash is way up as well. And we have found another group that's going to be starting next week to kind of relieve some of the pressure off of our public works crew. But the majority of the leaves that are out there are not out there because there were private contractors or the town suspects them of being collected by private contractors. They're out there just because the town is catching up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think when I spoke to Nancy before she went on her trip, she did say that, with the Firewise, that she, not only your rhododendron next to your homes, but that dry leaves can ignite and that's why they're improving, or the citizens of Montreat are bagging more leaves because we are wanting to protect our community from fires as well. So again, these two environmental concerns have been brought, and I will work with Alice and Alex on any kind of statement that we would like to have. Hal, did you want to make any comments? You had nodded your head about that. Hal Demers, are you there?
There we go. Get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would only, agree with the statements made. When I was working on my third bag, I grabbed the trash guys and begged that they would take one from me. And they did. But they did it with the caveat saying they were full and they couldn't pick up any more. So don't volunteer them.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other comments about our bag leave collection?
I have one thing that I don't know that we can branch off into a big discussion of, but it's something we might want to explore a little bit with Nancy. Brad has been chopping up our leaves rather than bagging them and spreading them around to make mulch. And I think that once they are chopped up, they stay wet, they break down quicker. I don't think they're anywhere near the same kind of fire hazard. And our soil here is getting way too much water washing across and through it. So anything we could do to help amend it seems like a good idea. But let's put it out there and let's deal with it at another time.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. That will be noted, and I will be having a follow-up with Nancy this week and maybe even this afternoon. But Jean, thank you. That's a great thought.
Yeah.
And just to clarify, so the statement in the report is not correct. The town will pick up the leaves, because it made it sound like that if it was done by college students, that the leaves would not be picked up. So
No, the statement is correct. The policy has always been, and we're not out there checking who's bagging leaves. We're not going through that. But the policy is, and it has always been, that if leaves are bagged by private contractors, they're responsible for removing the leaves, and not the town. And so that statement in Nancy's Firewise report is correct.
I'm Betsy.
As a
Okay.
former commissioner, I don't believe, I would agree that something Dottie's referring to, I don't think it was ever intended that those people here who can't bag their own leaves and pay college students to bag them, that was not intended to be a private contractor. That was people who getting help. It's the same thing with shoveling your snow or whatever. College students are so graciously and willingly helping us do some things. It's a great community college relationship. And I would not
Yes.
consider college students to be a private contractor any more than I would consider having a grandchild help me to be a private contractor, even if I bought him a free phone afterwards. So I'd like to think that the definition of private contractors maybe needs to be reviewed to see if it's the ones who come with their truck, all their equipment behind them, they should be picking up the leaves.
Yeah.
But that would be my suggestion.
Thank you. Would that be a correct statement then, that we could advise the town to look at and defining that? And thank you, Alex, if that's the case, and also with Alice. Do we have a consensus on that term then, as private contractor?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, if you don't have a truck to carry the stuff away, you're not a contractor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's simple enough.
Thank you. All right. Now we can have a stretch of ourselves with thinking about our projects that have been coming forth with item number 7. We're at the home stretch of looking at activity and project reports. I will have to tell you, we have we have so many scientists around us, including Maggie, my friend, but also Bill Seaman could not be on the meeting today, and he sent us an updated report, and I would like to tell you that he is going strong with getting his Flat Creek project. And as we attached something last month about what he is doing. And I would like to say that it's one where Bill asked me to just submit it, and I will send it to you, Katie. Just a quick update. Thanks to the diligent and enthusiastic involvement of volunteer citizen scientists from the Montreat community, the Landcare Stream Team completed 2 first ever research projects on the waters of Flat Creek in 2020. One effort found the water chemistry, those are for constituents such as nutrients, to be very healthy and of good quality as habitat for trout, with laboratory analysis conducted by our local Environmental Quality Institute. That was enabled in large part by grant funding from the North Carolina chapter of the American Fisheries Society. The second project focused on bacteria at the swimming hole, with analysis provided at no charge by the Mountain True organization. And most readings were in the healthy range. 2 were higher, but they may have been due to sampling error. All of this data are under analysis at the present, with the aim being to present findings at a scientific meeting in February 2021. And also in possibly 2 journals, one more technical and one more popular, with assistance from a colleague at the North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission. Later in the winter, we shall explore possible follow-up or new studies, as well as ways to communicate the results more widely. Cordially, Bill Seaman. And that is his update for 7A Flat Creek. The Firewise, I think you have seen that report, and we had that the discussion of the 6.6 that she had with the bagging of leaves. I would encourage you, if you haven't read it, knowing that we are up to our hours that have been reporting for next year's report, and they have completed 12 private property assessments. And she has also had discussion with the Black Mountain Fire Chief, meaning Nancy, to access some parts of Montreat, and they've agreed to have a more thorough meeting. We know that there are some very narrow roads that some of these fire trucks would never be able to get to. So again, when COVID is over, we'll prepare packets of information to share with realtors in Black Mountain for them to share with people who purchase a home in Montreat. Okay, so Katie, you have done some communication with the Rain Gardens project with Martha and myself, and is there anything you would like to add about the brochure or about the project?
The only thing I would like to say is that, Martha, you've been in touch with Amy, and well, maybe you want to explain that part of it, that she contacted you, the woman from First Christian Church.
Yes, a woman from First Christian Church contacted me, and she wanted to get the electronic copy of the brochure. She's going to be sharing that with a Sacred Spaces group at First Christian Church in Black Mountain, and invite them to come and see our rain garden and understand rain gardens. And she's picked some sites on their church property to possibly develop their own rain gardens. So I think it shows the wonderful way that the brochure and the demonstration rain garden, essentially at the town hall, are influencing even outside of the Montreat community. So Katie did a great job on the brochure.
Oh,
We
yes,
have- we
Katie,
have-
thank you.
You are most welcome. And we have plenty of brochures if we just want to provide some to them. I think they're going to last us a lifetime, at least my lifetime. So, and
Well, we
also,
spoke about,
go ahead.
go ahead.
I
just
did
saying, I know
present. Zoom is crazy. I did present the information to Patty Smith. I don't know if you got my email about that,
Yeah.
but I think it was just such a busy time that she just hasn't been able to post it, because we do want to have our brochure on the Landcare website available
Yes.
to anyone who would like to utilize that.
Right.
Thank you. And I know that there was not a January meeting, Katie, for your National Wildlife Federation Habitat but your conference call and all that we have chatted briefly about. And I'd like to move some of those items that we got on that report to a February meeting discussion. But you will be having a replacement, but we have really have appreciated the hard work that you have done with talking to people all over the country. And I know it was, all the webinars, and you would go in and you could hear people. And I thank you for your time on that. Is there a password we need to know from getting on there that would be something I'd love a report on too.
Yes, well, if whoever takes over that role, I'll be glad to, sit down with them and show them how it all works.
Excellent. Thank you. Just as Martha is by my side on this transition time for the chair. Now we're moving on. I don't know if there's, Jean and Brad, we are wanting maybe an update. I don't know what your native plant sale and Arbor Day celebration thoughts are, but if you'd like to speak to that, Jean.
Okay, I won't put on my visual. I think I'm broadcasting. There is absolutely nothing new on it. I'm personally watching the virus vaccination updates, and I'm not wildly encouraged. I think maybe it's time that Gracie and Martha and maybe one of our Montreat, the MRA reps sit down together and talk about what do we think we would like to present in a format that isn't a get out, walk around, try to buy plants thing. But I also still have on my list of to-do to try to contact by telephone the various possible vendors and find out what they are thinking about the future. Are they ready to have a plant sale again? Are they wanting to do things online? Oh, and there's Joe. So there's nothing new to report at this point, but I think it's time that we sit together and think about what it is that we would like to happen, perhaps instead of a plant sale, because I'm not sure we're going to be ready for a plant sale in the spring.
Excellent. Okay, I will follow up with you I have you on my list. Alice is on my list to contact for a discussion. And Jean, thank you. I think what is happening is that this is, as I said to Brad when I was chatting with him the other day, it's been 9 months, and it's just like we're trying to birth a baby. And maybe, I don't know how long a baby can keep in the womb, but your planning and everything is just ready to go. And I think that's the exciting part. And I'm still wanting to have a vendor that would want to be here and be safe and make it a celebration for Montreat. So thank you. Also, I think I don't know if Patty's on. I'm having trouble with my screen with participants.
She's
Well,
here.
I just started my video, and I have no report yet, but I'm looking forward to getting some traction on this item, and look forward maybe to next month.
Excellent. Love seeing you. And Patty, I'll have to get back in touch with you because we are sitting on the property that you were able to give us for our home.
Isn't that a great part of our story, right?
Yeah, we'll talk later, but I'm so happy you're here. What a wonderful, wonderful story you have about your precious mom and my mother-in-law too. Okay. Now, I'm not sure, Martha, the Hemlock Conservation Update, what I had placed that on there. Is there something that I need to know about that, or is that just an ongoing continuation of the hemlock and oak tree hikes?
It's an ongoing activity. I know the college at certain times of the year has students who go out with the sometimes they're AmeriCorps volunteers from the Hemlock conservation group to check the trees and count the numbers of beetles and so forth in a small area. It depends. It's a seasonal, and I presume the students will be doing that again. I don't know if Dottie has any programming with the hemlocks, but it is a wonderful, ongoing, we hope many generations project. We want to pray for the fertility of those beetles. Because they are helping and they are spreading in the valley. So it is something that needs to be eventually discussed, and there is a hemlock team within Landcare to see if we need to do any more chemical treatments, or if anybody does, of the big trees along the creek. We want to make sure that those that were protected in the original programming of chemical treatments, there's not enough money to do that in the hemlock account, but that is something to be concerned about, because of course the health of the creek and our whole valley depend on the health of some of those big trees.
Thank you, Martha. All right, we're now moving with the last 10 minutes. I'm hoping that or 9 minutes, that our meetings will always be a 9 to 10 o'clock. And I appreciate all of the help I'm getting from Martha and from all of you who are giving me this support, this first meeting. And we're now to our Landcare entity member reports. Alex, I don't know if you want to, or Katie or Alice, anything about the town of Montreat, anything you would wish to report?
I think that the town's items have already been covered.
Yes, okay. I don't know if the Town of Montreat Tree Board report is, I don't think Ann is on, I'm not sure. And as I said, I'm having trouble with my screen with the participants. So I know that I am going to be now a new member of that tree board, so I will be able to update. But what a wonderful board that has been, and a lot of energy and a lot of wonderful time, that committee with the leadership of Ann Vincent. And Dottie, would you or Josh or whatever, an update that you might have with the college? Welcome back. If the students are, what are they doing and how are things going?
Yeah, so we start classes a week from today, and there is testing on campus. So all faculty and staff and students will be tested as they come back onto campus. And basically the protocols will be the same as they were last semester. And as far as the schedule, we do start, as I said, next Wednesday. We do not have a spring break, and we will be ending the first week in May. So
Wow.
exams will come that first week in May.
Yes, could you call me back in just a few minutes?
And then
I'm in an online meeting at this moment.
for
But
those for those of you that know about our Discovery program, which is a 3-week backpacking trip that leaves from Montreat and comes back into Montreat, had to be canceled last spring. And so we'll have at least 2 groups going out on that trip this spring. So they're out for 3 weeks in the wilderness. So we're excited to get back in doing that.
Yes. Wonderful to see your face again, Dottie. I look forward to all one-on-ones soon too without our masks.
Yeah.
Anything else to add with the college? We are so happy that you're safe, and you've been the conditions of the students and their health has been, I think they've been tremendous in those mask wearing. I've seen them walking outside. That's wonderful.
We're just glad to be face to face and not online.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. The MRA, Tracy, Jason, anything you want to update us on I'm sad about all the furloughs and the things that are not working with, not having your staff.
Tracy on?
Is Tracy? You can go ahead, Jason.
Well, I might be it. We are getting ready to interview summer staff applicants. At the same time telling them we don't know if we can hire them because we don't know what the summer is going to look like, but we've got a plan for the best. I will say, and what Dottie was just saying with the Discovery thing reminded me, I don't know where they go, the Discovery group, but soon, if it's not already up, we're going to start taking reservations for the 2 backpacking shelters online. We're not going to charge anything for them at this point. It's really just kind of so you don't get there and hopefully have someone else in there if you don't want to. This may or may not work. So it's mostly a test run, in that sense. But it's not a terrible idea. So we're giving it a shot. And I've done a little bit of trail work in December on clearing some stuff from the storms, especially on Elizabeth Path. Added in another step down there, Martha, coming down off of south of Welch.
Right. Thank you.
So
thank you.
I've got, and then the Dales have been very helpful with their. I think they're trail club members who they give me regular reports on trail conditions. So thanks to them, I have a to-do list going into January, and every winter storm or windy day we get adds to it. So, and then of course, kind of, working with slowly figuring out what we're doing with the sheer numbers of people who are coming in.
I have a question for Jason. I noticed, because we're out and walking a lot, there's a sign at the nature center that asks people not to leave injured animals at the nature center. Are you having a problem with people?
Well, it's happened twice. Well, once was the most recent one was just a dead snake. And I don't know if it was dead when it was dropped off, but the more disturbing one was I got an injured coyote last year. And, after calling around, no one takes a coyote. So I had to shoot it and, get the permissions to do that from the police and everything. And that just was not how I wanted to spend my morning. And so I think, and I get calls more than people dropping things off. I get calls, we have an injured bunny, or we have an injured hawk. We have whatever, right? And I think people think we're the Western North Carolina Nature Center or a rescue organization, and I just can't do any of these.
Right. In your job description.
So we have fed in the summer a number of injured rodents to snakes during the summertime when we're brought them, but that's about all we can do.
Right.
Yeah. You have a lot of hats to wear, Jason, and I don't know if you need to have, you may have a mask on and look like a doctor, but I'm not. but
Yeah, I don't have the veterinary skill to deal with that.
Well, but you would be a wonderful vet because you love animals, I know. Is Tracy wanted to add anything? Is she still there, Tracy?
I do not have anything to add. It's just great to see all of you.
Good, thank you. And Katie, I think we're up to with the community wildlife habitat. If there's anything, and you can add now, Katie, if you wish, if you're still there.
I'm here. I just had to unmute. The only thing I need to add is that they have not yet scheduled the next meeting. They said they would do that in early January. I haven't heard from them yet, though.
Excellent. Good. And Jason, back to you again. You've mentioned a lot about the trails, but is there anything about your Montreat Trail Club you wish to report?
You know, I said we've had a couple of folks who are doing that great reporting work. But this time of year, when it's so cold, and when, quite frankly, with the numbers being as high, you know, we don't want to do anything social. And so, but hopefully in the spring, we'll do, maybe April, we can do another work day. That worked really well this fall, and we had a really positive turnout for that. And people seem to enjoy giving back in that kind of way. So yeah, hopefully once we get on the other side of COVID, we can do more things, but I think it's a hard one to want to do, those kind of
yeah. Thank you. I do not have a report, but will next month on the Montreat Cottagers Wilderness and Open Space with the help of Ann Vinson, who chairs that committee, and Philip Arnold, who helps us with the financing. The Earth Ministry team of the Montreat Presbyterian Church. Hal, anything you want to discuss from the Christmas trees or anything else to announce for our group?
This month's Talk in the Woods is going to be winter warmth. And knowing this group, it'll be warmth inside and out. But I don't have the link yet to send out.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll be able to get that into the Montreat Pres weekly flyer. If not, we'll try to at least to this group with a way to get
to the community. How about on the community announcements? Could that go there with what the wonderful job that they do with the conference center sending out there? Could that be put there too, as well as the church?
That would be fine with us, I'm sure. I don't know what the limitation is on our on their Zoom, because it'll come out from the presbytery.
Oh, I see.
But certainly there's no limits.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And the next Landcare meeting will be February the 3rd. And as if there are any other topics or thoughts or statements that need to be made by this wonderful team and our visitors, we appreciate you being on. And as I said, I cannot see you. Can we recognize any of our guests by saying your name again? I know we had Ed Kramer on. Is there anyone else that's been helping us out with good listening here, and make it any statement you wish? Any other visitors? Martha, can you see any?
I can see Mary Standard is on. That's the only other person. And we know that Alex, so that's the ones who don't have their face on.
Okay. Well, I would like to say that Katie and Martha have been graciously helping me make a transition. And Martha, you're not going to get away, but you are on this meeting today because you have been so gracious to help me kind of co-chair, and you worked with me on all of the agendas, and I appreciate you. We'd like to have a celebration of our two people leaving, Katie and Martha, when we can gather, because I have a plan. So you don't think that you're not going to be recognized, and we have wonderful memories of you, both of you all. And we're going to miss Katie, and we're going to miss you, Martha. But you're not going anywhere. Thank you, everyone. Is there any other, and again, Alex, thank you for your scheduling our Zoom meetings. It's always on schedule. And if there's a way that we can ever have the public have an announcement, it would be wonderful to have people coming on if they wish to be participating. As a North Carolina meeting law, we are an open meeting. We are under the North Carolina open meeting law. So if there's a way we can encourage, I know we can make calls or tell people to get on, but if they know the passwords or the code or how to get on, Alex, that would be something that I can talk with you about. But have a wonderful day, everyone.
As your vice chairman, I'd like to say what a great meeting you ran for the first.
Absolutely.
Grace.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you.
Very, very much for a good experience. And it's 10:05, I think. So we are perfect.
Yep. Well, and again, I will be having a new laptop maybe by February, but my iPad was sending all those wonderful documents out. And Brad, you are still my lifesaver. Thank you, Brad Hester. So long, everybody. Happy Wednesday. What am I don't even know what day it is. Who knows anyway? Be safe, and we'll be in touch with those people. Alice, I'm going to be in touch with you, Katie, Martha, and of course, Maggie. Thank you, Maggie.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.